Good afternoon. Shateka Husser coming to you once again live all the way from your metro city area of Charleston, South Carolina. I am your retirement consultant and annuities broker. And my goal today is really to just give you a little bit of information that I'm seeing in terms of mistakes that people are making as it relates to their retirement accounts. I'm probably not going to get through all of them today, but my goal is just to get started, right? Because it is a new year. Happy New Year. And I know that you have quite a few audacious goals, and so do I. And so I want to make sure that we talk a lot about how we can get you in the right position this year. What are you doing wrong? What can you do differently? What do you need to tweak? Things of that nature. So we're going to talk about probably about 3 or 4 of them today, and we'll continue this conversation tomorrow. If you are looking at me from the right or the left, you're probably on Instagram or TikTok. If you want to look directly at me, you probably want to join me on YouTube because that's who's getting my attention. And so if you want to watch this replay, because it will not be a replay on other platforms, certainly join me on YouTube. You want to follow me there because that's where I will be hanging out 2024. All right. It is not really branded yet, but it will be a branded channel at some point soon. But for now, just get the information. Listen, you got to get started, right? Done is better than perfect. And that's the reason why we do what we do. Because listen, until we're perfect, we will never get started. And so there's a lot of moving pieces as a retirement consultant and an annuities broker. So it does take some time. Now, I want to talk about probably the number one thing that I hear. So if you just wait until the end, I'm not going to make you wait to the end since I'm not going to give all of it to you today. But I'm going to talk about probably the number one reason why most people are not ready for retirement and what the mistakes that they're making. But as I am doing this, please share this information. If you feel like someone needs to hear this information, definitely want you to share it. Again, I am on YouTube Live. If you are looking to me at your left, my left, or my right, I'm on YouTube Live at Shateka Husser. Where we help you retire before you expire. So if that's what you desire and what you aspire, then we are the ones you hire. Our goal really is to get your bank account on fire with a whole lot of lifetime tax-free retirement income that you will not outlive. That's my goal, right? So long story made short, I had a few friends that didn't end up retirement. You can't hear me? That's a problem. So thank you for letting me know. Let me turn this little clip thingy on here. I think that will help. Let me know if you can hear me now. If you can hear me now. All right. Thanks for letting me know. So we can go ahead and get started again. Take 2, because we are not perfect over here. But we do our best to do the best that we can. I'll wait to hear from you. Bridge to the bag. And awesome. Great. So thank you for joining me today, as a matter of fact. Thank you so much, because you could have been anywhere at this time, especially this time of day, but you chose to hang out with me. And so I want to make sure I make it worth your time. Awesome. Good. So the first thing I want to talk about, and I guess I'll just repeat myself for you over here. I think that's the best thing I could do, is that I will not be covering all 10 mistakes today, but I will cover probably 3 or 4. And it's all on YouTube, right? So if you don't catch all of it and you want to hear the replay, definitely come over to YouTube and listen to the replay. But we're definitely going to be making sure that we cover all of this this week. Okay. So we're going to start off with 3 to 4 of them today. I'm Shateka Husser. If you haven't never heard me before, I'm a retirement consultant and annuities broker. And my desire is to help you retire before you expire. So if that's what you desire, then we are the ones you hire. Shateka Husser Financial Solutions. Our goal really is to get your bank account on fire with a whole lot of lifetime tax-free retirement income that you will not outlive. And that is the biggest fear besides dying, is running out of money. All right. So let me slow it down a little bit, because I know I talk fast, I get excited, and I do have a geeky accent because I am from the Shock, right? Charleston, South Carolina. But our goal really is to make sure that you're winning, right? Because if you're not winning, you're sinning. Now, as someone that has been in the Army, someone that has been in corporate, now I'm a business owner and entrepreneur, I understand all the retirement plans. And let me be real clear what retirement plans are. The biggest thing that you need to understand about retirement plans are they're actually tax codes, most of them, okay? But my goal is to help people understand what the non-qualified, retirement plans can do for them a whole lot more than what those qualified plans could do. And what is a qualified plan? It is qualified for you to have to pay taxes in the future, simply put. All right. So there are different codes out there. So like 403B are for like your teachers. 457 is for like your firefighters and your policemen and, your frontline people. Then you have your 401k, which are like your career professionals working in corporate, like retailers and things of that nature, maybe all types of industries. But basically someone that's working as a W-2 employee. Okay. That is primarily going to be your 401k. Okay. You're going to have you have your TSP for your government employees, as well as your your military, your soldiers. Like I was a soldier, right? So I definitely understand a TSP. All right. So all of these codes, TSP, 401k, 403B, 457, the list goes on. All of those codes are tax codes, meaning that you are required to have to end up paying taxes in the future. Now, if I was to tell you that you could actually position your money to not have to pay taxes in the future, what would that do for you? What would that do? Hey, Alan, what would that do for your bank account in the future? What would that do for your legacy that you're building for your family? What would that do for the amount of money that you're making and keeping, right? Because you're not paying taxes in the future. Because if I was to ask you, do you feel like taxes are going to go down in the future or going to go up in the future? What would you tell me? 1,000% of people, right, say that is going to go up. It has to go up, right? Because of everything that's happening in our economy. So how do you get in front of that? And how do you beat inflation? Because we know taxes are going to go up. What are you going to do different today? Right? We're going to get into our 10, but we're only going to do about 3 or 4 today, and we'll continue it. But it's important that you understand that it's not about how much money you make, because I made that mistake. Double 6 figures, right, in corporate, but it's about how much money you keep. And so all these wonderful, what we feel like was wonderful, that's why you keep hearing people say that they don't subscribe to working 40 years for 40% of their income, because they understand that they got to pay taxes in the future. But if I can get you in front of that, so that you don't have to worry about inflation, so that you don't have to worry about having to pay taxes, right? And I'm not talking about all these other types of accounts that you have to supplement because you're really trying to offset taxes. Let's just be clear. You're getting all these stocks, these real estate, all these other things that I own, right? So I get it. But if you could just stop paying taxes, if you can just stop the bleeding, if you could just understand with greater financial literacy, how do I keep from having to pay taxes? It's really about your retirement readiness account. I talk a lot about the retirement readiness account because a lot of you do not have a retirement readiness account. You do not have a non-qualified, meaning that you're not going to pay taxes type of account, right? Because your money's not positioned that way. All right. I'm not talking about a Roth IRA for those of you that try to get ahead of me and you know it all. I'm not talking about a Roth IRA, because a Roth IRA, you can still lose money in. My goal is to help you keep all of the money that you put in and not have to pay taxes with the money that you already put in, right? So if I can do that for you, then you're winning, right? Like if I can start all over again, knowing what I know today, I certainly wouldn't be participating, me personally. And this is why people are pivoting and why people are jumping out of these career plans, right? These employer plans. I'm not suggesting you do anything. I am just telling you that if you stay in those types of plans, you are susceptible to risk. And the older you become, the less risk you want in your portfolio, your portfolio, excuse me, portfolio. And you don't want to have to pay taxes, right? Because taxes are going up in the future. So 2 things are eliminated. We protect your money. You can protect your money from taxation. You can protect your money from market volatility and losing money in the market. You can protect your money from any type of lawsuit. A lot of people are going through divorce. A lot of people are going through IRS issues, all types of things. You can protect your money from any type of account, any type of lawsuit that's going to be requiring you to have to pay money out of your retirement account, because you can get what's called a non-qualified retirement readiness income account. And that's really what we're talking about today. But let's jump over into, the number one reason I see that people are not ready for their retirement and their retirement account is not where it needs to be. 100% of people come to me and they tell me, Shateka, I don't have enough money saved. I didn't put away enough money. So what about opportunities missed, right? What about the amount of money that you could be making, but sometimes living above your means? And I'm going to probably talk about all 10 really in just a paragraph. Living above your means, putting out a lot of money in some areas where you could have been putting that towards retirement. Well, you know what? I got to live for today, and I understand all of that. But what if you could keep some of that money in your retirement account and still be able to use it while you're living your best life today? What if you can use your money at the same time twice, maybe even quadruple times, because you have your money in the right type of account? That's what we're talking about today. All right. So the biggest mistake is that people don't put away enough money, and they don't begin with the end in mind. You need to consult with someone, some type of financial advisor, some type of retirement consultant, to find out where do you need to be. You can simply go to ID Me, right? Look at your Social Security account, find out where you are. How much money are you right now projecting to have by the time you retire? I don't care what your age is, right? And now you want to supplement that based on what your goals are. So if your goal is to have $5,000 worth of income in retirement, and you know you right now only generating 3,000, how are you going to bridge that gap so that you can live with the additional 2,000? What are you going to do today to take care of your older self tomorrow? And oh, by the way, your retirement readiness account, if you have good health, you actually can offset that long-term care plan challenge that most people have, because 80% of people is going to need a long-term care plan before they pass away, right? If your retirement readiness account does not allow you to be able to access money if something was to happen to you in the terms of chronic, critical, or terminal illness, then you got the wrong type of retirement account. If your retirement account is going to cause you to have to possibly lose money, even though you're maybe getting closer to retirement and you can't afford to lose a penny because you haven't put away enough money already anyway, that's a big problem that most people are ignoring, because it's too, they say, well, you know what, I'll have it by the time I retire. But it's the time that makes the money. You don't have to put away a lot, but the longer you wait to get started, or the longer you wait to even look at the stuff, you're going to find out you have a huge gap. You're going to have to come to the table with that much more money. So why don't you get ahead of the inflation? Because people think, oh, you know what? I got this amount of money that I'm going to be able to make in the future. But what about inflation? So $6,000 a day doesn't equal $6,000 in the future. How are you going to offset inflation? How are you going to guarantee yourself that you're going to be having the right type of account, a retirement readiness income account that's going to help offset inflation in the future and even now? Because we know inflation is already here, right? It's already a challenge for most people. So what are you doing different? So the number one thing that I see people is that they don't have enough money put away. How are you going to get in front of that? Number two, people live above their means. I already talked about that, right? Because if you can keep more money, not just from taxation, but actually compounding and making money for you while you're sleeping, that's less years you have to work for your retirement, right? Most people end up having to work all their life because they have lived above their means versus living below their means or at their means and allowing that additional funds to be some place inside of an account that's going to be making money for them while they sleep. Because we know that Warren Buffett says that unless you figure out a way to make money while you're sleeping, you're going to be working for money all the days of your life. All the days of your life, right? So that's what we're talking about. Now, 3, procrastination. And they keep putting it off. They keep putting off planning. They keep putting off, figuring out what their, I would say, independence number is, right? What is your financial independence number? What does that look like? And how are you going to get to that number? What's your strategy? What's your plan? What are you going to do different so that you're in position, so that you're not in that 95 percentile of people that will never, ever end up having opportunity to retire? You'll be working all days of your life because you took no action. Inaction is a decision. Inaction is a decision. Somebody can put that in the chat. Inaction is a decision all day long, right? Inaction is a decision, because if you decide not to do anything, you're going to find yourself wishing and hoping and praying for some of you to get married to someone that's going to help you in retirement. And let's just be really clear, right? But if you can do what you need to do to take care of your older self, you don't have to worry about all that. All right. So number 4, I think the biggest thing that people look at is that they're not looking at tax advantage planning. Again, what did I say earlier? It's not about how much money you make, but how much money do you keep? Why do you keep giving Uncle Sam all of this money? Why do you keep paying the IRS all these taxes? Number 1, you probably have the wrong person doing your taxes. You probably don't have someone that's going to be able to give you the maximum amount of, deductions, even if you are a W-2, right? To help you and teach you and train you, right? So the tax code is not written for the W-2 employee, unfortunately. That's why most people have what's called a side hustle, because they want to make sure that they offset taxes so they can keep more money, so they can have that money for retirement. So most people have some type of LLC doing something, rather it's real estate, Turo, whatever. The list goes on. But having an additional passive income instead of a second job that's only going to take more taxes from you, they end up making sure that they have some type of LLC so they can keep more of their money, so that that money can then be used for their retirement portfolio. And that retirement readiness income account is going to give you more than just compounding while you sleep. right? Because you should have your money working harder for you while you're sleeping. You shouldn't be working hard for your money. Your money should be working harder for you and producing what Marvin says, money babies, while you're sleeping. But in addition to that, you want to have those benefits because guess what? Most people will have some type of medical challenge when they're in their retirement age. That's what's eating them up, either on the way to retirement or during retirement. It's eating up their bank account. But if you have the right type of retirement readiness account, income account, you don't have to worry about if you have a heart attack, cancer, stroke, dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever type of disease, chronic critical terminal illness. You can access your retirement readiness account today so you don't deplete your retirement account for tomorrow. The retirement readiness income account is a leverage account, and most people don't have leverage, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about leverage. How do you have greater leverage with your retirement account than you have right now? If you have a qualified plan, you don't have leverage. If something happens to you medically, what are you going to do? If something happens to you with a lawsuit, what are you going to do? If the market crashes and takes 50% of your money because it happens, what are you going to do? Have you thought about these things? Are you going to work 10 more years, 20 more years because the market crashed and took most of your account? Or are you going to have some type of less risky account where there's actually no risk in that account except for maybe minimal fees, if that, right? What are you going to do different? So I don't want to talk long. I always want to talk strong. So I gave you 4 reasons or 4 mistakes that people are making, or I actually gave you more than that, but I only numbered it by 4. But if you were listening to me, I spoke about more than 4. But I'm going to stop right here. My name is Shateka. If I can help you in any way, definitely reach out. But my goal is just to drop some nuggets every now and then. I can't give you a schedule because what I'm not going to do is tell you when I'm going to be here, and I'm not, because I have clients and I have a lot of other competing priorities. But my goal is to get on here at least once a week. And ideally, this year it's going to be on Mondays in the afternoons around 3:30. I'm not going to give a specific time, but today was 3:30. But on Monday afternoons, to be able to drop something for you to be able to chew on throughout the week so that you can be able to do what you need to do. Now, a bonus is me coming back again this week. My goal is always to come back. And if I do come back, it'll be on Wednesday, okay, or Friday. But those are like my 3 days that I will ideally you'll be able to hear from me. But if you follow me on Instagram, you'll hear me when I'm live. You won't see the replay. But if you follow me on YouTube, you get the replay. And then on TikTok again, you can hear. Hi, Natasha. How you doing, young lady? So the goal is just to come on here, have a quick conversation with you, give you some content, and get on about my business. If I can help you, reach out. But again, my goal is really just to make sure that I'm continuing to be relevant to what's going on. The biggest concern that people are having right now is how do I make sure that my money outpaces what I'm doing on my job? And that's really what that and creating that passive income. We're going to talk about the steps to financial freedom by next week. And that's one of the major steps that we're going to talk about too. All right. So I want to give at least 2 minutes for questions. If there's any questions, definitely ask it right now. If I don't see any questions, I'm going to go ahead and move to closing down this live. But you can reach me at shateka.com. That's my first name.com. Everything is there to kind of give you more information about who I am, what I do, and those types of things. So yes, definitely take a look at that. I don't see any questions on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and move to closing this down. I will see you guys again, if not Wednesday or Friday, on next Monday at 3:30 p.m. Have an incredible, or somewhere around 3:30 p.m. I'm going to just be real clear because I want to make sure I'm a woman of my word. And I'll see you then. God bless.